All right, then let's get started with the top story. Iran fired missiles at Israel in the name of its new leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, while explosions continue to rock its neighbors in the Gulf. Meanwhile, oil prices have soared above $100 per barrel for the first time in almost 4 years. Let's take a look at the top developments so far. Mojtaba Khamenei has been selected to succeed his slain father as Iran's supreme leader. Mojtaba's appointment comes 9 days after US-Israeli strikes killed Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as plunged West Asia into war. The 88-member assembly of experts convened to choose the country's third supreme leader since 1979. Islamic Revolution, Iran's Revolutionary Guards, as well as regional allies Houthis and Hezbollah have quickly pledged support for the new leader.
This assembly, after thorough and extensive deliberations and by utilizing the authority granted under Article 108 of the Constitution and in accordance with its religious duty and belief in being present before Almighty God, in today's extraordinary session, based on the decisive vote of the esteemed members of the Assembly of Experts, appoints and introduces Ayatollah Sayyid Mojtaba Khamenei, may God preserve him, as the third leader of the sacred system of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Iran launched its first missile attack at Israel after the appointment of the new supreme leader. In Israel, sirens warnings of incoming missiles sounded across much of the country's north and center, including the cities of Tel Aviv and Haifa, according to the military's Home Front Command. Police said officers were called to at least 2 sites in central Israel where, according to local media, interceptor debris fell. Several explosions were heard in Qatari capital Doha as Gulf nations reported new attacks, with Iran pressing its retaliatory strikes across the region. Qatar's defense ministry said on Monday that its forces had intercepted a missile attack. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said the kingdom intercepted and destroyed 2 drones heading towards the Sheba oil field in the southeast of the country. Saudi Arabia said Sunday that 2 people were killed and 12 wounded as a projectile landed in Karj province. Kuwait's defense ministry said that the country's air defenses were working to intercept a missile and drone attack on Monday. And on Sunday, the Gulf nation was targeted by 7 missiles and 5 drones. That's according to figures released by the authorities. In a sign that United States does not expect a quick end to the war, the State Department ordered non-emergency staff to leave Saudi Arabia days after a drone hit the U.S. embassy. The U.S. military announced that a service member had died after being wounded in Saudi Arabia, the 7th American combat death in the war. As Iran continued to target its oil-rich Gulf Arab neighbors, the benchmark price for a barrel of crude soared beyond $100 for the first time since Russia's invasion of Ukraine 4 years ago. US President Donald Trump dismissed the price spike as a small price to pay for removing the alleged threat of Iran's nuclear program. But markets in Japan and South Korea, both heavily dependent on energy imports, opened the week sharply lower on Monday. Israel struck 5 oil facilities in and around Tehran, killing at least 4 people in sparking blazes that left the skies filled with acrid smoke. Tehran's governor said that fuel distribution had been temporarily interrupted in the capital. A dark haze hung over the city of 10 million people, blocking out the sun, and the smell of burning fuel lingered in the air. Authorities warned the fumes could be toxic and urged citizens to stay indoors. But many windows were blown out by the force of the blast. Hezbollah on Monday said that it is engaging Israeli forces who landed in eastern Lebanon by helicopter across the Syrian border, the second such operation since the outbreak of the latest conflict with Israel. Lebanon has been drawn into the war. Last week, when Iran-backed Hezbollah attacked Israel in response to the killing of Iranian supreme leader. Israel struck a hotel in central Beirut on Sunday, saying it had targeted 5 commanders of the Revolutionary Guard's International Quds Force. Lebanon's health ministry said 4 people died and 10 others were injured in the Beirut strike. Lebanon's health minister said that at least 394 people had been killed in Israeli strikes since the start of the war. That's including 83 children and 42 women. To discuss more on this from Washington, D.C., we are now joined by Giorgio Cafiero, who is a professor at Georgetown University and CEO of the Gulf State Analytics. Hi, Mr. Cafiero. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, Iran now has a new leader, Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei. How do you see his leadership impacting the war now, which has already entered its second week? And also, could his leadership change Iran's relationship with the Gulf countries? Should the region expect more confrontations as we are seeing, or is there any chance for diplomacy further?
Yeah, thank you. So great to be back on your network. You know, I think with this new leader, the Islamic Republic's third supreme leader, now at the helm, there's a really important message from the Iranian regime that is being sent out to the entire world, definitely being sent to the White House right now. That is that despite the American and Israeli efforts to weaken or topple the regime in Tehran, the Islamic Republic is moving forward and its system remains cohesive despite the massive destruction of property and the spilling of blood all over the country amid this war. The regime is still standing and the succession process has taken place.
Right.
Given the fact that, okay.
Please go ahead, you were saying.
Yes, excuse me. And given the fact that Donald Trump himself said that he needed to have a say in who the next supreme leader, who the next leader of Iran was going to be, the fact that the son of the assassinated supreme leader has replaced his father is a move of defiance on Iran's part. It sends a message that Iran is a sovereign country and that the White House does not get to decide who was to replace the second supreme leader. Now, let's keep in mind that the new supreme leader recently lost his father, his mother, his wife, I believe his sister, and some people are saying also one of his children. So it's very clear that he is extremely angry and is not going to want to really have much to do with Donald Trump, probably for a long time, if ever. I do not expect Iran, with its new leader, to be ready to negotiate with the West anytime soon.